Welcome everybody, this is Peter Wilson from Grace Waves Devotional, coming to you from Manchester in the UK, and our 5-minute Grace Med for today is titled The Forgiveness Basis. The Forgiveness Basis. When we receive a grace revelation of forgiveness as against a law revelation of forgiveness, it changes so many things. And one of those changes I have called the forgiveness basis to highlight the difference between forgiveness between God and forgiveness between man and man or person to person. Let me explain. Let's look first of all at forgiveness person to person. In Matthew 18:21 and 22, Peter came to Jesus and said, "Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times?" Jesus said to him, "I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. In other words, if Peter sinned against the same person 7 times in a day, he would have to go to that person 7 times, confess his sin, apologize, and ask that person to forgive him 7 times. So, in other words, forgiveness, person to person, is on a case-by-case basis, whereas forgiveness between God and man is a different thing altogether. Colossians 2:13. He has made you alive together with him, having, that's past tense at the cross, forgiven you all sins. Hebrews 9:28. Christ was offered once for all time to bear the sins of many. In the verses I've just read, we see that Christ once for all time took all our sins, past, present, and future, upon himself at the cross, which then released God to once for all time forgive all our sins, past, present, and future. So, if God once for all time forgave all our sins, past, present, and future at the cross, we are to receive his forgiveness once for all time for all our sins, past, present, and future. I hope you can catch this. This means that forgiveness between God and man is not on a case-by-case basis. Rather, it is on a once for all time basis. This gives rise to the truth that we no longer need confess our sins on a case-by-case basis to God. No, God forgave all our sins on a once-for-all time basis. Therefore, we no longer need confess our sins. Instead, when we sin, we simply thank him for his forgiveness, rise up and move on. Why? Because we know he has already forgiven that sin 2,000 years ago. You see, he already forgave all our sins at the cross and gave us that forgiveness as part of the free gift of salvation. And our job is to receive that free gift. So, when we don't know this, we come up with some ridiculous statements. For example, a person once posted on Facebook and said, "If I sin against my wife by abusing her, I must go to her and confess my sin and apologize and ask for her forgiveness. Therefore, if I sin against God, good manners also dictates that I must go to God, confess my sin, apologize, and ask for his forgiveness." No, 1,000 times no. See, the person who wrote those words on Facebook was well-meaning but ignorant of the truths of grace forgiveness. Can you see how ridiculous it makes that person look in the light of God's once for all time forgiveness? So let me repeat again that forgiveness between person to person is on a case by case basis, but forgiveness between God and man is on a once for all time basis. I've said a few difficult words there. I'd encourage you to go over the video again and again until you get the truth of what it is I've been saying today. So, have a great day. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.